You're listening to the Be Forever Cool podcast. My name is Rex45, and it's Monday night, and we got to talk about some motorcycle racing, some MotoGP, a little bit of World Superbike, and all the ins and outs of that. Before we dive into the previous round in Malaysia, let's bring the guys in and introduce them one at a time. Uh, TJ, man, welcome to the show. How you doing tonight, man?
Hanging in there. Got my hoodie on. The weather's getting cold up here, like as usual. My Patriots are 6-2, so we're winning. You know, and
I,
MotoGP's had a good weekend, but racing's coming to an end soon. But just enjoying what I can.
Yeah, I think I got to make fun of the Patriots a little bit more, man, because it seems like the more I keep talking about them, and they keep winning. I can't believe they're 6-2, and I suspect a lot, a lot of the other
It's the
teams can't
system.
believe they're 6-2 either. So, who do you know? I guess you guys must be excited up north.
Oh yeah, we're inside. I mean, it's the system. That's how we. In New England, we root for just basically one team. Other states got different teams to choose from, so we kind of die hard. We got a system we go by.
Oh, come on,
So it's
you know
it's,
you
it's
being,
kind of work.
you know you're being kind when you say New England, because people in Boston just we just see we say Boston teams. They don't really say New England teams.
Yeah,
People that live
yeah, I guess.
outside of Boston or Mass, they don't want to say New
Yeah,
England.
I was being a little generous, but yeah,
Okay.
Boston. I say we only root for Boston. So
All right, no doubt, no doubt. Let's keep it rolling, man. We got a pretty good show planned for tonight. Very excited for tonight. Let's bring Reese in the building, man. What's going on, man? Welcome back to the States. Did you learn a lot?
Oh yeah, man, we did. We learned a lot. I learned a lot. It was great to be over there. Great to be home, man. That's all you can say. I don't know
All
about them
right.
Patriots. I don't know about them Patriots, man. I stay with my Eagles over here. Even though I live in Florida, I stay with my Eagles.
All right. Well, listen, man. Y'all are getting them ships, so I mean, y'all are invited to the party now. So let's see how long you can stay. But you're
Fight to the party. We fighting all y'all to the party, man. We fighting all y'all. Welcome to our party.
well, hey, listen, as long as it's a good party, but we'll find out, right?
Exactly, man. Exactly.
No doubt. Lewis, man, the real Lewis Ortega, man. What's going on, man? How are things?
Good, good. What's going on? How was your weekend?
Oh man, my weekend was a pretty good. I have to say, my daughter had a tennis tournament this weekend, so it was exciting to see her play and see her growth and stuff like that, and to see the competition at that age. So I can't complain, man. But how about yourself, man? Did you get a chance to just relax and drink some lemonade?
No, no, I don't. Even when I'm not working, like I've got so many other things going on, it's just hard to sit down, relax, and just have like that time off. I try to have time off, but it's just hard to uh, idle hands. I can't be in my house and not be like, oh, you know what? This weekend, I think I'm going to fix this. So let me take a run to Home Depot. Let me go to Lowe's. I always tell myself I should not leave the house because every time I leave the house, it costs me money.
Gotcha. I feel. Listen, I feel you. Sometimes I feel like I just moved the stuff around in the garage from one side to the other. Sometimes, man. But I'm excited to talk about motorcycle racing this week, tonight, and this week, because it's been a crazy year so far. Welcome everyone. But before we go, let's talk a little bit about the Moto3 riders that got hurt, Rhoda and Detweiler. I thought we were gonna get away with this season with nothing too crazy. So far, it seems like they're stable. Well, they're alive and stable, which is great. We'll start with TJ. What are your thoughts on? I don't know if you had a chance to see the accident. What are your thoughts on it? And like I said, I mean, guys have been breaking bones and getting scratched up here and there, but it's nothing as serious as this, where they've had to get med lifted in MotoGP. I know other classes, I'm sure, around the world, people get hurt in motorcycle racing and stuff like that. But what are your thoughts, DJ?
Yeah, my condolences to the friends and family to those two guys. I mean, they're young guys, and it's just unfortunate to have something like that happen. It's very unexpected and it's very serious to get airlifted from the track. It's also really good to have that safety behind you. Like just ready and available. Really hope they're okay. I mean, I heard that one of them is in stable but kind of critical condition. So
Hmm.
I haven't heard really much of the other one. I did not see what happened. I mean, granted, from where we are, we actually could have watched it live because it was actually during the hours of being up. But
Being up, come on, man, you stay up
yeah,
24/7.
yeah, but I missed it, and when I they cut it off in the MotoGP. So, but I really hope they're okay. And it is hard for all the other riders to go back out there and do their thing. So hats off to all those guys who still performed and put in the race after seeing what happened. And I think what is about an hour and a half delay or something like that. So
Yeah, yeah. From
yeah,
what I can tell, it was something like something crazy. And again, and I was catching up in after the fact because I didn't watch it right away. I took a nap and kind of missed it, which is crazy. We'll jump to Reese. Reese, what are your thoughts? I mean, you this is what you do full time and stuff like that. Normally, we don't see these horrific incidents. How does the team deal with stuff like that?
I mean, nobody wants their rider, their family member to get hurt. I mean, we're all like a big family there, so nobody wants that. We all want to, at the end of the day, break bread. At the end of the day, go to dinner and live the fight on to another day. I mean, so it's kind of heartbreaking. Prayers go out to that family and to both those families. Um, but I wish them all well. Hopefully, a good speedy recovery. I know it's going to be a long road of recovery for them. And then, like you said, they were young kids. That's make it even worse that they're young. But being young, we all know that you can kind of heal quicker than us
Right.
old dogs. So, uh, us bouncing like that, we might not get back up. But at the end of the day, us being as a team, we see our riders go down and we kind of hold, if it's a kind of like a bad wreck, we kind of hold our breath until you see them kind of bounce back up and give that thumbs up saying we're okay. And, being airlifted is nobody wants to be airlifted
Right.
out of the racing because you see that airlift comes out and then it's something serious and something critical. Now we're all rushed to the hospital to make sure that person is okay. So
Right, right. No doubt there, man. It's. I think the good part of our sport is that the level of medical care that's available to us trackside is the best it's been. I think since folks have been racing motorcycles or anything else. Lewis. What are your thoughts on the incident and also uh, how do you think riders pull themselves together to go back out there and compete, knowing this is in the back of their mind? Because we could be as Superman as we'd like to be. It's hard to sometimes to just shut that section off for a period of time and go out there and give it everything you got.
Well, first, I want to give my well wishes to both riders. I want to, hopefully they'll have a speedy recovery, get out of the hospital, get back to their families. Like Reese said, there is a benefit to being young in this sport. You tend to bounce back from serious injury a little bit better than somebody our age would bounce back. With that said, I hate that it happened in Malaysia because we already have some really bad memories as racing fans of Malaysia. Malaysia is not a beloved track in the minds of a lot of people that know the history of that track and what it took from us as a racing community.
Right.
I still relive that particular day all the time because I'm one of those guys that likes to watch the racing live. So I either stay up late or wake up early to watch it. And to watch this live and to have watched what happened with Simoncelli live, it was kind of like a cruel reminder of how beautiful our sport is, but how tragically beautiful it is. It's one of the things that makes the sport great is every time you put your helmet on, you really live in life to the fullest. But you might go, it's living life to the fullest comes with a cost sometimes. So I hope both these riders get better soon, bounce back. I think that the way MotoGP handled it overall was understandable because in this situation, I hate to say it, the show has to go on. You've got 190 something thousand people there. You've got TV stations waiting for you to go live. It's a cruel part of the sport, but you have to keep going. You have to, move things around, but the show has to go on. From what I understand and what some of the riders are saying in GP is that they got very little information about the riders throughout the course of the day because they didn't want to influence anything or make riders decide not to ride or maybe protest or, when something tragic happens, there are times when they just shut it down. And for whatever reason, I guess that's why MotoGP didn't share with the MotoGP guys and the show went on. But you could tell throughout the day, Moto 2 and Moto GP, like it wasn't the same celebratory, high energy kind of thing going on. There was like a little bit of a somber undertone because, again, I mean, these are young guys. These are not guys you expect to see getting airlifted away. I just hope that they both come out of this okay, and I want to see them keep riding. Especially two young guys. One guy that was just crowned champion. What is it? A week ago, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. I think I forget which round. I gotta check. I think it was Japan.
Japan. So like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. Yeah. But again, this just crowned champion, and it just goes to show you how quickly things can turn on a dime, and you have to take advantage of every moment you have. I always tell people every day that I go out, I always make sure I say hi, kiss the family, and always keep my loved ones in my thought because you never know the next time you walk out that door might be the last time you walk out that door.
Yeah.
So I just hope everybody keeps these guys in their thoughts and their prayers, and I think we're going to see them back. These two guys are built like nails.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to be a motorcycle racer. You might not be one when you start, but by the time they finish,
you're built by nails, or you're held together by nails and screws and bolts and plates.
I got one. There's just one, so hopefully, I won't get any more. But you never know. But as it is motorcycle racing, and we got to move on. As you say, the show must go on. We'll put Reese on the hot table. So, guys, if you have any questions for him about his travels overseas,
Dunlop sucks. Just say it. Go ahead. Start. Go hot. Go hot in the paint right now.
There you go, Reese. What feedback do you have to give us folks here in America on what racing is like? And can you now go back to the paddock in the U.S.?
I could say racing over there is it's tough, man. Everyone thinks it's very easy, and it's like you see all the comments, and we don't have riders that can compete, and there's nobody that can compete. I mean, those guys are 10,000 of seconds off. It's like it's crazy speed and craziness. I mean, it's absolutely insane on those how much brake pressure those guys are actually using. It's actually crazy on what they're doing.
Now, when you say crazy in the sense of a little pressure or a lot of pressure?
A lot of pressure, man. It's a lot. It's down to the 1,000th of a second. I mean, if you look at the top 10 guys, they're all relatively right there, and they're like, how the hell are they so far back? But it's just like it's insane that what they can do over there. And we're not. I mean, Bobby was picking up pace on Jerez. I mean, he did very well in Jerez, and maybe I was like, oh, he didn't do well. But if you look at the speeds and the times, we were right there.
Okay. So what you're saying? What you're saying to Lewis is Alex Slows is really fast.
Yeah.
Hey.
You gotta say it, man. Those guys are fast.
I'm not saying he's not fast. I'm just saying you got to finish a race to win a race. And those brothers tend to finish a lot of races in the crash truck.
So
they do. I mean, but they're literally on the edge every lap. Like they're on the edge every lap, every corner, and they're using their front brakes more than everything.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, look at Top Rack. Top Rack always got that front wheel up. I mean, the back wheel up.
Yo, I think I've seen every guy with their back wheel up. Every guy with their back wheel up. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
And so what does that mean for like the team? Because like we had mentioned before you went over Last year Gillum got to go, but it was just him. The whole team came over, maybe not all at once. Like, when it's all said and done, like, how does a team come together and say, hey, what do we just witness, and how do we incorporate it into what we're trying to do here in the U.S., or is it something that's not easy to bring over?
I mean, you got to realize the biggest factor, as Lou will tell you, the biggest factor is the tires. The tires is the biggest factor. They got so much grip. I mean, there's so much grip on the Pirellis. There's so much feeling, so much feedback with the Pirellis. A lot of guys love them. I mean, I didn't hear anything really negative on the Pirellis at all. So that is the biggest factor of racing is the tires. With Dunlops here, I mean, we don't have what they have. And then the tracks are kind of a little bit similar, but not too far. They have a lot more runoff, a lot different straightaways, and it's a little bit. They're actually a little bit wider.
So they're better. Our tracks suck. Our tracks suck. Their tracks are better. Like the one thing that I see, and maybe you can, now that you've been to these tracks, because I've seen a couple of the tracks overseas, is the tracks overseas tend to focus heavily on the crash areas and putting kitty litter or rocks or something else that slows the bike and slows the rider down when they crash in those high-speed zones. Whereas here, if you look at a lot of the tracks that we race in the U.S., we have a lot of grass runoff.
Right.
And we've talked about it. We talked about it a little bit last week. Grass runoff tends to destroy bikes versus gravel and kitty litter tends to slow the bikes down more often than not, so the bikes don't flip ridiculously. Whereas here in the U.S., our bikes seem to be practicing for like Cirque du Soleil every weekend.
Right. I mean, as you know, Louis, I mean, once that foot peg, a bar end, anything, once they're grabbing that dirt, it's over. It's gonna head over in. But if you notice in the kitty litter, it comes in and it actually slows it down and just a small tilt over.
Yep.
Unless they're already sliding into the kitty litter and then it gets
then
caught. Now it's going over.
So do you think the tracks in Europe overall are safer than what we have here in the U.S. when you compare track to track? I mean, obviously you're in some of the best tracks. You're not on the back lot tracks where most of these guys are training, but on the bigger tracks, if you had to compare the two tracks you went to, minus Coda, which for me is the only world-class track we have in the U.S. right now, how would you compare that to like a Road Atlanta or a VIR or a New Jersey?
Death.
Okay.
So we got to feel good at Loudon then, huh?
Loudon is death double down.
That is it, not gold. Yeah, I'm gonna sit here. I'll watch you guys. Y'all go ahead. I'm gonna sit on this. I'm gonna sit this one out.
And how about the crowds? Because that's one of the things that I've always noticed is the European crowds are bigger, more engaged. Like, how is the crowd? Because one of the things that we've noticed is World Superbike has a much lower attendance than MotoGP. But compared to Moto America, how do you compare the crowds?
It's funny, and they were talking about it because like I said, I didn't get to Ethereal, but the crowds that they have are the same kind of crowds that we almost have, like as in Road America, Laguna, like Road Atlanta. For what the facility can hold, you're almost in that same realm.
Gotcha. So you think it's more the facility that's kind of hampering the crowd situation than if they were at more MotoGP tracks?
No, I mean, but you got to think about it. Those guys over there, they don't have what we have here in America. We have football, baseball, basketball. We have all types of sports. Their big thing is motorsports. So when motorsports comes out, they're like, "Oh, we're going to go watch." This is like their big hurrah.
Right.
So that's where they're coming.
Gotcha.
They're born and bred that from birth.
So yeah, I got a question for you.
Yep.
So yeah, knowing that Attack Yamaha and Moto America has been, at the top for a while, and the championship slipped away. But knowing you're at the top and Bobby going over there, and it's not like it's a reality check. It kind of knew where he was going to stand, but actually seeing the competition, like what can you take from there to like bring back to try to improve, even though you guys are still top level.
I mean, you can improve on certain things. You can improve on like Bobby. He can improve on riding skills. Like it was nice when you're seeing Top Rock come into your garage and telling Bobby, "Hey, come follow me," you know, and getting that kind of experience. Following Locatelli and Johnny Ray. Seeing different brake markers, seeing how much brake pressure, how hard you can get on the brakes, and different kind of riding styles, and how aggressive those guys can be. You can take that kind of attributes that they have and bring it back to the states. And I mean, if you actually notice, if you go back, when did Cam, like when Cam was with Yamaha to when he went to Moto 2, then when he came back, you can actually notice Cam now rides with his elbows out.
Hmm.
Sure.
Like he's never rode with his elbows out. Now he rides with the elbows out a lot more and poking them out, and he's a little bit more aggressive getting in there, but he's still kind of that nice guy, but he's a little bit more aggressive now. So I mean,
No,
you can bring that attributes back and kind of take that.
right. And
Now,
and and do you think 2 rounds is enough? I mean, kind of thing, or I mean, you have to take what you get, kind of thing. But do you think it would have been nice to have more rounds?
yes and no. It's a lot of work, man. It's a lot, it's a hell of a lot of work trying to,
Did you drive the lorry?
huh?
I said, did you drive the lorry?
Nah, it's a lot of work from literally packing the crates from leaving Jersey and then like staying up. I think we were packing on Sunday night. I think we packed till like 9 o'clock. Race was over till like what 5, 3. We were done. And we didn't get out of there till like 9:30 on Jersey on a Sunday.
Wow.
And then they still had to finish up on Monday before the crates left. 2 guys. So yeah, now we're good. I'll take two and keep it moving. I'll take two.
Okay, that's what's up. What's up? Before we move into MotoGP, any other questions for Reese before we move on, guys?
I'll probably
Yeah,
think
we
of
get.
something by the end of the show.
All
Oh,
right,
knowing Lewis, he will, because him and his track questions and one say the
right,
tracks
right.
suck here. Yes, they do. Compared to that, Lewis, they do, man. Their tracks are better. I'll say it.
It's all about the
They
measurements.
It's all about the definitely. So let's move into MotoGP. Bagnaia won the sprint. Alex Marquez won the main race. What do you guys think of that? I have my opinions. I guess I'll share after the fact. I don't want to taint you guys' thoughts by throwing them out up front. But I don't want to say they're blasts from the past, right? But it seems like it because we after the summer break we've had this period of other manufacturers, and we're still seeing it. We're still seeing it, but these guys obviously one had injuries, and Pecco bike was giving them more problems. When Pecco won Japan, I asked if it was a fluke. You guys kind of said, yeah. Well, Lewis, we'll throw Lewis out there. But
nah, it was a fluke.
he did win the sprint, and if he didn't have a flat tire, from what we can tell, he might have finished third or second in the GP race. So they're figuring something out there. But what do you guys thoughts? We'll go with TJ.
We talking about Pecco here.
I'm just saying one got
uh,
they both got to win. I mean, it's weird that I'll say this. It's weird how MotoGP has the sprint and the GP, but it seems like the sprint is like the wicked stepsister. It's like they win, but it's not a win. But go ahead.
I mean, I'm surprised Pecco actually got a win on the sprint because he doesn't like the sprints. But it was actually good to see him ride decent and actually, all the way up to qualifying, he wasn't doing that well, and it's surprising that he actually got pole.
Yeah, he had
Um,
to come out of
so,
Q1.
so for him to start in the front row, I mean, it's probably but getting back to his old ways, a little different. I think he definitely deserved that sprint. But going into the GP, I mean, yeah, he might have a puncture or flat, but I mean, I feel like he's still playing it safe. I mean, I've seen Top Rack ride a wheel off a rim. So like he needs to just he had 3 laps left, man. Like you can just don't pull over. But I mean, I guess it was just super flat. I don't know. But I don't know. It's just maybe reflecting on his efforts lately. It just shows that he's kind of given up. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, yeah,
Man,
it's
effort's given up. I listen. I mean, I've been as you guys know, I try to be a fierce supporter of all the riders. But
Yeah, right.
you think Pecco's lacking effort? My goodness.
I
All right,
mean,
Reese,
they 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 were even saying that he needs to ride around his problems. Like everyone is going through the same thing. Everyone's got the same tires. And he's just his he's giving. It felt like he's just giving up.
listen, like Reese doesn't like to hear the writers say, go show me how to get these lap times since you think I can go faster. What do you say?
Listen,
What do you got to say, Reese, about the efforts of Alex? Because I mean, TJ didn't touch on Alex yet, but
No.
Alex's effort and Pecco's effort. I mean, and I think did Alex crash out of the sprint? I don't know. I gotta check. But what are your thoughts on those two guys?
I mean, I say on Alex effort, in the race itself was great. I mean, he checked out. I mean, that's what he was supposed to do. I mean, he checked himself out. I don't remember if he did crash out in the sprint race. I couldn't remember right now.
Yeah, I'll check.
But I know with Pekka, as Lewis says, hold my beer. I got this.
My
But
bad. Alex finished second in the sprint, so there we go.
all right. So, I mean, that right there tells you his efforts. I mean, he had, but you got to look at it. And TJ said it best. They all have their problems, right? Every rider has their problems. Can you ride around the problems? Because you can't have a perfect bike. You can't have a perfect setup. You got to have at least a 90 or 85% something, in the realm. But he's one of them guys that wants a perfect bike. And you ever notice if he gets out front and gets clean air track, then he does good. But when he's behind somebody or whatever, I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't. I'm like, man, if you don't stop bitching and pull your pants up and just ride the damn bike, like I'm at that point.
Similar to Lorenzo. Jorge Lorenzo is similar to that. He was out front, and he'll kind of do the same thing. But if he had to fight, you didn't know how it was going to turn out.
Right. He just can't. It seemed like he always had problems when he got to fight. But I seen him once he got out front, I said, oh, he's gone. He's going to check out. He's got clear track. That's his normal game. If he gets clear track in front of him, he can check out. But if there's someone in front of him it's like a mental thing. He's like, oh, I can't catch them. I can't do this. I can't. So it's like a mental thing with him, like a mental block.
Okay, all right. I mean, I could, we'll see. Lewis, what are your thoughts, man, on these guys? We got 2 rounds left after this, and we were on the on who was going to win that we post on YouTube. We didn't have any of the faves on there, and so I was thinking it was going to be Raul or Aldeguer or Costa or Bezecchi, one of these guys, but these guys they don't need a contract at the moment, so.
No, I think this weekend overall, Aprilia had a rough weekend. Like if you look at the overall results from all the Aprilia riders, they weren't shining. Let's put it that way. I think their top finish this weekend was Bezecchi in the sprint, and then after that, the tumble from where Bezecchi was at downward was pretty steep. So Aprilia, this wasn't their track. This wasn't their weekend, whether it was the heat or something, just wasn't working. And Alex had a solid weekend with a 1 and 2 between the 2 races. Acosta had a solid weekend, even though he had to go back to his garage and pretty much tell him, turn all the electronic stuff off. Let me just ride the bike with my hands, man. And it worked out for him. Like the dude was able to ride, considering that they turned down all the electronics according to what the media is saying, because he was having so many problems with the setup of the bike. And then as far as Pecco, I think his problem is he's trying too hard now, because he was the only rider that opted to go with a different compound tire.
Yeah.
He was hoping that the race would come to him later on in the race. Like he's doing all this extra stuff, either trying to compensate for something he's not feeling good with the bike or whatever it is. I mean, he had a solid sprint, and sprints are great wins. I mean, a win's a W is a W, even if it's a half W, it's still, a W. But he's gotta put it together on Sunday more than anything else. And I thought that with Mark out of the picture for the next 3 rounds, he might be the guy to focus on, because now the team is giving him 100% attention. He has to be the guy that gets everything he needs. As soon as he gets in the garage, what is it you need? Let's get it done, because you need to be our top guy out there. And Mark, and Alex is still, another Marquez is still taking him to school.
Right. Yeah. I was a little bit shocked at the medium and in the beginning and the struggles and stuff like that, because he was doing everything possible to keep Acosta at bay. But if he would have got a second or third place, it wouldn't have been a bad weekend. It's and unfortunately with a tire, you can't. Who are you going to blame?
I don't know.
But
Somehow the VR46 people are going to say Alex put a thumbtack out there. They have to blame a Marquez brother.
I
But just goes all back to what I'm saying.
Why got me VR46? Pecco's on the factory team. Why can't it be somebody from the factory team, like his sister?
He gave my boy Joe Amir a podium, so.
Hey, Honda got back on the box again.
Listen, get on the box or crash, right?
I'll tell you what, they know how to celebrate in that garage, man. That was twice in 4 weeks, 5 weeks, they've been on the box, and they celebrate like it's second coming.
Like they're a satellite team. Stop playing.
Remember the CRT teams? Not even a satellite team.
And you went way back to the CRT.
It was good to see those guys race. I think after the last round and even the round before that, I think we were expecting a little bit more, but it seems like the heat got in the way for a lot of riders, and a lot of riders struggled with that heat. There was a lot of crashing, there was a lot of hard crashing and stuff like that. Let's talk about KTM, I guess, because like Lewis said, Acosta turned off got electronics turned off, and was able to do something. But what's going on with these other riders that they can't find their way, so to speak. Bastianini's doing what he's doing, coming through the field and stuff like that. But you're not going to win any championships or anything like that. What are your thoughts on where KTM outside of Acosta? Because he's looking for that win, so he might be doing as much as Bagnaia, but he's not. He's having better luck, so to speak. He may disagree because there's a couple of crashes that took him out of the podium. What are your thoughts on KTM?
From the start of the year, all the news that they got, and just not having a full team. Like, you need to have a full team. Like, your leader also has to be out there. Like, Maverick was pretty much helping them and giving them direction. I felt like when they were struggling, and for their ups and downs, and they just can't be consistent. Like, for some reason, I don't understand. Like Brad Binder is a good rider, but like he's not helping much at all. Like, I don't see him helping any situation. He's always in the back of the pack. Like, Pedro's putting in the work. He's always screaming, showing his emotion. And Bastianini, yeah, it's his first time on KTM, but he's just always in the back. So it's like very inconsistent. There's some weekends that they're good, most weekends they're bad, and they just don't have a full squad. So it's just right now. I feel like the two guys, Brad and Nate, is just trying to just finish the year, just see what happens next year. I don't feel like they can. I don't know what they really can improve going forward. Obviously, they can try to improve, but you just don't see it.
All right. Reese, what are your thoughts on KTM? And I know Brad, I think, got one more year on his contract. I think he had like a 3-year contract. Is it time for Brad to find a new team, to change a pace, for 2027?
It might be time for Brad to find a new series and head over to World Superbike. I think that's possible. But I agree with TJ 100%. I mean, you need your guy out there. You need Vinales. It seemed like Vinales was the glue that held everything together. That gave them the direction on which way the bike needs to go, on what needs to happen, and everything else. And now that he's there, it's just like, man, that was just like a tumbling house. It just went to shit, you know. And Pedro Acosta showed some when I saw him do that. He showed some real maturity. That they said they show him a little bit mature to actually want to ride the bike with zero electronics, like turn the electronics down, like just put them all the way low as possible, and let me do this. Um, so that shows a sign of, hey, I know these electronics are actually they're supposed to help you, but these electronics are actually hindering me. So, you know, good idea to him, and he rode the wheels off that bike, and which is very smooth and very easy with it. Um, but with Bender and you know them, I just don't see where they're going. They actually need some help.
Right, right. Yeah, I agree, and we shall see. Lewis, what are your thoughts on KTM and the electronics? And I know we're going to see a lot less in 27 as far as electronics and stuff like that to give him more power to the riders, literally and figuratively. What are your thoughts on where KTM is, and Brad need to come to Motor America?
Um, I think next year is going to be a very, very trying year for KTM between the financial issues that they're going through, because we can't forget those. I mean, they weigh heavily upon the minds of those cutting the checks at KTM, I'm sure. They're going to have a lot of contracts that come due next year. So, what do they see as their future? One, are they going to continue racing in MotoGP? Because it is a very big check to cash every year to go racing in MotoGP. Do they want to continue with 4 bikes? Do they want to actually have a true satellite team that's separate from their team? So obviously the Tech 3 team is now owned by somebody else. So I think that person is going to infuse a lot of money to make sure that the KTM squad, or at least the KTM bikes, stay in the grid. So there's at least 4. But on the factory itself, if I see the performance of Brad Binder as currently a 33-year-old, next year going to be 34-year-old, do I want to sign a guy for a 2-year contract that has not really given me the results that I wanted when he was at the peak of his youth? And now he's going to be 35, 36, 37 if I sign him to a 2-year deal. Do I want to do that with Maverick Vinales? Maverick Vinales is a great rider, but he's another basket case. Either you need to be the greatest rider on the planet or the worst rider to work with. So you really have Pedro Acosta, who wants to leave the team immediately because he wants instant results, and the bike's not giving him the instant results. The only guy that they can count on for 27 is Bastianini, because he's got no ride anywhere. So he's just working for food. He'll be more than happy to stay on a shitty bike because we can stay in the top 10 just so he can have a competent ride until he can find something better.
Right.
So there's a lot of question marks with the KTM team overall.
Yeah, I agree with Bastianini. I mean, I won't go on my Ducati case, but Bastianini, he's a talented rider, and we like any sport, we question the decision making of the owners. I mean, they're right to make whatever decisions they make, obviously, but as fans, we disagree with some of it, most of it, really. Do you really? I mean, even though Vinales, as you hear both Reese and TJ say, I mean, he's helped the team along with I guess they got rid of Miller. So, but you don't think it's worth keeping Vinales? I mean, he doesn't outside of this injury, this is like the first real major injury he's had in MotoGP. So he still has a pretty, healthy body, so to speak, even though this shoulder injury's taken a lot longer to heal.
If my choices were Bastianini, Binder, and Vinales, I would absolutely keep Vinales. Of those 3 guys, that's the guy I would keep because he has been proven a winner. The biggest problem with him is if he's not happy, he becomes a giant pain in the ass, which is not a bad thing because you need that person to push you to get the bike better. But we've seen that, he's burned the bridge at Yamaha.
Right.
And that's a bridge he's never going to go back to.
All right.
He
But,
only has two other manufacturers left that he can even go to at this point.
right. But, Vinales is like a Kevin Garnett. Don't we all want a Kevin Garnett on our team, TJ, Reese?
I mean, we do, but
Yeah,
I think he's kind of worse than a Kevin Garnett.
right. Yeah, you need that Marcus Smart, Kevin Garnett type player all the time. But yeah, it can't be a nuisance though.
Right.
But I mean, listen, when you can't criticize the guy when it's just not working. He's the same guy the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, I know now we're like, oh, it's not working. Damn, you need Maverick. But when Maverick's actually out there, you're like, yo, this dude's a, he's a nut. You know
He's
what I'm
a
saying?
head
So
case, man.
like, so like, you do miss him when he's gone, but at the same time, like, you just be cordial, I guess. So.
Yeah, I've been rooting for Maverick all year. I'm glad that he's got to shine. It sucked that he's injured because I think KTM Acosta would have had help, right?
Mhm.
You know
Right.
what I mean, and we would have been talking differently about KTM, and I mean it's the same thing with Martin, I guess with Aprilia. If he was there, Bezecchi would have had help, but although I think Bezecchi would have been like Bledsoe instead of being like Tom Brady, and Bezecchi's getting that chance to be Tom Brady right now. What are your thoughts? I mean, we talked about Aprilia a little bit, but let's just dive further into it. The struggles, the penalties, the ups and down. They're still a better brand as far as in the championship than KTM. But and we are obviously we can say Ducati's been struggling the last few rounds too with their up and down. But this is the first weekend that Aprilia's really struggled since like the summer break.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, TJ?
I mean, I don't know the reason why they struggle. Like I said, they just need more help, more data. You figured that Raul was on a high after his last race, and I felt like he struggled also. So yeah, they just didn't have it. I mean, I don't know if it was just a longer layout of a track where a lot more things are required, and I mean, there was a little overcast and stuff like that, but everyone had to go out there and do the same thing. But I just don't know if they just had enough data or why they struggled. That's just more of an insight. I just don't understand.
Okay, all right. Let's
Yeah.
let's see if Reese might have an idea of why. I'll throw something out there. Is it a lack of funds? Because they probably the poorest brand in MotoGP when you think about it. They're a small brand. I don't think their money is long. Their money ain't like Yamaha, Honda, or Ducati, aka Volkswagen. What are your thoughts, Reese?
Of course, KTM is one of the lowest out there. But Aprilia is uh, uh, the struggle that Aprilia had this weekend. I still think that they're one of the the better brands of the bikes out there with Ducati. I
Mm-hmm.
think they're one of the top brands. As far as you're looking at Honda, Yamaha, KTM, Yamaha is just struggling all the way. Honda has you have seen Honda s- start a little bit of you want to say trickling up there towards the front, or consistency.
Yeah.
Um, KTM is struggling a little bit, but I think they're struggling because yeah, it could be lack of funds. But then it's also you don't have that rider out there that is a well developed rider, but that can actually help develop a bike that understands what we need to win. That person is missing. Acosta can be it, but Acosta still is a little green behind it, the gills. He's learning his way slowly but surely. Acosta wants to take that role and say, I'm the leader of this team. Um, but I think they still need that. It's just like as basketball in any sport, you need that vet. You need that one veteran player there. You need that veteran guy, and that's what Vinales is to be that. And they just don't have it. Same thing in
Right.
Aprilia. They don't have. I think Martin is that veteran guy for Aprilia to actually help out a little bit, but they're still both kind of a little young. him and
Yeah,
Bash.
that's what I say. When you're the 28-year-old, you can't be a vet.
Not a vet, but he's been around Ducati long enough
Right,
to
right,
understand certain scenarios.
right,
He's been around that Ducati bike some time now, so he can understand. Hey, maybe we need to try this, or maybe we need to try that. He can kind of give a little bit more insight. You know,
right. And is it fair to say where Aprilia went wrong? And I know yeah, listen. I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to say anything about anybody's contracts or anything like that, and how somebody feels about something. Because I mean, to me, it seems like a big deal for Maverick to leave because they didn't talk to him about signing Martin. But Vinales was that guy to be the veteran, right?
Mhm.
And he probably would have helped out Aprilia like he helped out. He's helping out KTM, and you get your heart broken once, and was Vinales trying to destroy the engine? Was he not? As his side against, no one's in his head, so we don't know, right? We can only speculate and we can say whatever. We don't know, but for him to leave Aprilia the way he did, there's some animosity I think that came from Yamaha and how he felt he was treated. That this time it's just like, I'm not giving you a chance. This first girl broke my heart. You look like you might break my heart, so deuces. And that kind of thing. So do you think that Aprilia kind of screwed up by not having that conversation? Maybe they didn't screw up because maybe they didn't think that he needed that kind of talk, right? What are your thoughts, Lewis?
or he could be a basket case.
Yeah, I mean, again, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. Maybe there was already some internal turmoil, and that's why they didn't want to tell him. Maverick isn't known in the paddock as being somebody that's easy to talk to. He's a great rider again, but that doesn't mean that he's a great communicator or he's easy to get along with. There's some guys that are just hard to get along with, whether you like it or not, and whether you respect them on the track. They're just difficult to get along with. And I think maybe Aprilia saw an opportunity to get two really young, talented riders and said, this is the opportunity we got to take. As a team, this is what we have to do. Maybe Maverick was asking for more money than Aprilia was willing to give him. Again, these are negotiations, things that we don't know. If Vinales was asking for 1.5 times what Bez is getting, then they got a great deal by getting Bez.
Right.
They got a young rider that's put up some great numbers and done everything else. And with his time with Aprilia, I mean, really, what did Vinales do when he was with Aprilia? It's not like he lit the world on fire. I don't remember seeing how many wins he had. One win? One win. So Bez has already beaten his one win several times over.
Right.
So again,
price.
Financially, they got a better deal by getting Bez. And even if he did get a little bit butthurt, this is the name on the building, the name on the check is Piaggio. It's not Vinales. You work for us, man. We don't work for you. Yeah. If we tell you you're going to work with this person, if you don't want to work with them, that's a you problem. I don't have to tell you everything I'm going to do.
Lewis, I thought this was your chance to completely do a 180 on
Vinales. You are my employee. you my employee.
I was like, okay, he's coming around.
Nah.
I pay you.
I'll do like a 90, 97, maybe a 100, 180. Nah. I'll give him a little props because he's one of the most talented riders in the paddock, hands down. I can never take that away from him. But from what's been said through the media and so forth, he's not always the easiest guy to get along with, not the easiest guy to have on a team. And that's another dynamic that we're not looking into. What in KTM internally might need to change outside of the riders. We have the same mechanics, the same techs, the same lead technician, the same team principal for all this time. Maybe it's time to change the team principal over at KTM. Maybe change some of those faces around, because the faces on the bikes, you can keep them a million times. If your coaching team sucks, you're still going to have a shitty product out there.
Right. The qualities that Maverick has, I mean, there's some principles that have that same character, and that's a good thing for them. But for him, it's not. So it's tough when you don't sign a check, as they say. Let's talk about, speaking of Czech, let's talk about Honda, because as Marquez told Zarco and some of the other guys some months back on Honda, is like, look, yes, I gave up a lot of money, so don't waste it. Doesn't seem like Honda is wasting the money they got back from Marquez. And is it time to say they're officially back?
No, we're not gonna jump that gun.
Yeah, I
You
mean, I can see improvement. I mean, if Mir would have had stayed up maybe 10 more Grand Prix, then possibly
hang on one
we could
second.
have.
He's had over 44 crashes.
I mean, that's my guy. I like Mir from like when he won his first championship and stuff like that. But
He's a Suzuki guy. Just
man,
just
yeah,
leave when
all
he's a
right, all
Suzuki
right.
guy. Don't say nothing else.
That's
Just a Suzuki guy.
but anyway, yes, okay. So I feel like if he's finished more Grand Prix and Luca was around more, I feel like they'll have a better step than they're making now. It's a little late in the season, but I don't want to say they're officially back yet. But I can say that they're making the steps, right steps in the right
Okay.
direction.
All right. Reese, you said no, but I mean, it could be like, Colorado State with Dion their second year. It's a lot better than their first previous 5 years. And Honda, they're again, crashes here, crashes there. As you know, these guys are on the limits all the time. So, you blink and you crash. What do they need to do for you to say they're back?
Consistency is key. I mean, it's not just show like they're doing now. There's one race they show great, then the next one they're like nowhere to be around, and it's like the next one they're nowhere around, the next one they come up, they're in the top 10. Give me more consistency, and then I could say, hey, they're making a push to come back. I mean, right now they're showing a lot more improvements than the blue brand. It sucks, but um, they're showing their improvement. They're showing that they didn't waste that money that Marquez left on the table. They're actually taking the initial steps to improve the bike and do what they need to do.
Right.
Um, and I keep saying this all to a lot of people. I mean, you have one more year of the 1000s. You got one more year. After that year, it's almost like a
Reboot.
start from everybody. Everybody starts from zero, and we just hopefully everybody can come to the table at that time.
Yeah, I mean, I do think, and we'll move into it, but the riders, the teams that are in, that got bikes in other series might have a better chance of that. Lewis, what are your thoughts on Honda, where they're at, and are you saying they're back? Not yet.
I'm saying they're further ahead of the Yamaha at this point. I'll definitely say that. I've said that for a while now. I felt that they have been improving in the right ways. And, nobody ever said that the Honda didn't have motor.
I was going to bring that up
Yeah,
because on the straights with Luca Marini,
he wasn't getting away.
we thought some bikes was going to. Nah, he was right there.
Hey, so Honda doesn't have a problem with the motor. Honda's always had problems with stability in the braking and corner speed and edge grip and things like that. So, and some of that you can get mechanically, some of that you can get through electronics, and some of that you got to find a rider that can ride around some of those issues. And they had that rider for a long time in Marquez. And now they're trying to build a bike that's a little more suitable for more guys than just one guy. And that's what I'm hoping Ducati stays away from, is don't make the bike so Marquez centric that it becomes to a point where nobody else can ride it. And Honda did that for a long time, and now they're kind of having to go back to the drawing board and build a bike. But the motor was never the problem. The bike puts down ridiculous amount of power. So I feel that they're definitely ahead of Yamaha by a few steps because they don't have to build a motor from scratch. They have the motor. They know they have the overall chassis. They just have to get these finer points figured out. And they're doing it. I mean, they are investing. They're doing the right things. And I think they're doing it in a way that makes sense. I mean, they're not just going to throw all the money at this thing because, again, next year is the last year for these bikes. So I'm not going to dump all my R&D into a bike that I'm scrapping in 18 months. Let me take some of that R&D money and start putting it towards that bike for 2027. So when that season kicks off, we're not at the back of the table. We're at the front of the table. We're doing the right thing to get our bike back up to the top step as quickly as possible.
Okay.
I just
And
hope that the riders survive between now and then.
if Luca, what we see Luca and Mir doing, I mean, if Marquez was on that bike, I mean, wouldn't it be a winning bike? Because I mean,
Nah.
the Ducati
It would
Nah.
it would be a winning bike because of him, but not
Right.
because of the bike.
Well, I mean, we could say that about the 25.
Ducati.
Yeah,
You could say that, except his brother's winning on it also.
that's a 24.
Right.
That's a 24.
20-ish.
Hey, listen, in some states it matters.
I think Honda's
still
doing
a
the right
duck.
thing. Yeah, I think Honda's doing the right thing the right way because you see what Mir. If you look at Mir and Marini,
Yeah,
they have very similar styles.
yeah.
So they're making a bike to work with a specific style, very smooth, very fast corner type of style, not a hard braking shooting point, kind of style where you have to kind of go into the corner and you have to use your rear brake to get that last 2% of the turn done because your front brake is already gassed out and you're going to crush the front end. So they're changing the dynamics of the bike away from what Marquez is good at to something that more people could be good at. And that's what they need. They need a better rounded, all around better bike.
Okay, I agree. Before we leave off Honda, Zarco, he's looking better, still crashing a bunch. Samcat, I saw they were cheering him on because he finished 15th. I don't know if they're saying goodbye to him. I don't know what's
They
going
saying
on
goodbye.
there.
They saying goodbye. Goodbye. Good riddance.
And this is on Honda, right? This is on Honda for. I mean, I shouldn't say it's on Honda because maybe somebody wrote them a fat check for him to come over. We don't know, but they're shipping him off to World Superbike. But this is on Honda because this guy needs, like Raul Fernandez, he needs more time. I don't think he's a bad rider. He needs more time.
He's a bad rider.
They don't like giving time though. How much time can you get though? He's like, hey, I need time. I'm in the
1
world
year.
space, but
He barely got a year, and he was hurt.
KTM don't give you that sometimes. Like certain
What is he?
manufacturers
Jesse
don't give you that 1 year.
injury?
You in and you
Hey,
out.
hey,
Remy
listen.
Gardner, gone.
We trying to raise. This ain't no fundraising case.
Come on, listen, man. Now let's this has been one of my gripes with Gardner, with Ika Lukuono, with Samcat. There's some guys that get a bunch of time, but listen,
Brad Binder got a lot of time.
Aleix and Pohl got a lot of time. Bradley Smith got a lot of time. Tito Roubaix got a lot of time. Redding had a lot of time in GP. Like, and these guys barely got wins. So like,
that's what I don't get it.
How do we do?
Hey, but you gotta say they had a lot of time. But some of those guys you named, they at least were top 10. At least top 10.
As a rookie?
Brad?
As a rookie?
Didn't they get it like once? Because if I go back in it,
listen.
Yes.
Nakagami got pole once too, right? So I mean, some guys, he would have got it. It would have been a situation.
When nobody's on the track.
Listen, you never know. It's MotoGP. You never know what can happen until you watch.
Everybody crashes out. Like some cat just need to go find something else to do. That's what he need to do.
It's tricky, right? Because he probably should have stayed in Moto 2 one more year because he probably would have been a force in Moto 2 because he was coming into his own in Moto 2. But it's tough because as a Moto, and I'll say this with I think Raul Fernandez came to MotoGP too soon as well. I think he should have stuck around and stayed another year and be at the front of the Moto 2 grid instead of coming into MotoGP and struggle. So we do see it when these guys come early, but also if you don't take the ride, you also see that you get blacklisted, like Roberts and some of these other guys that didn't jump on the Aprilia when it was worse than the Honda to ride.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. I do agree with that. Like, just gotta go with the flow, I guess. The Chargers still got to ride, and obviously it ain't MotoGP, but his times are not too bad, but they're just not good enough.
Mm.
by a lot. Like he's, I feel like he's keeping pace, but he's like, I mean, if you want to call being a second half off not close, I mean, I guess that's really not close.
Right.
Like all of a sudden, the past few years, all these riders are within a half a second from each other. But I feel
Right.
like years before, it was within 1 or 2 seconds. So
Okay.
yeah, it's just unfortunate. I mean, like, and the bike that he's on, I guess, is also developing too. So
Right. Well, listen, I mean, to sign Diego Moreira is, I'm not going to sit here and say he's not a top notch rider and doesn't belong in MotoGP and stuff like that, but they are breaking the mold because he's not Asian, and they've been kind of doing that for almost 8 to 10 years, to have an Asian rider on the squad. So I can't believe Samcat did that bad that they said no more.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
that might be with, what are their options? What other Asians do they have at Moto 2 that's an option?
Yeah, let's keep him for another year. I mean, listen, Taka Nakagami, I love the guy, but you know, he started out the same way as Samcat. You know what I mean? Like I said, he got one pole, I think, in it was a Jerez, or it was one of the Spanish rounds,
And he
or
crashed out first
he
lap.
crashed out, right? So,
So he was consistent, is what you're saying.
that's what I'm saying. And I think he came in 15. I think 15 to 16 is when he came in. But and that's when the bike was, really bad. But you know what I'm saying. So it's weird. I mean, I'm glad to see him in World Superbike and stuff. But let's talk about the Yamaha before we get into World Superbike.
Oh,
Miller. I know some people question why Miller got re-signed. But when we see these efforts from him, granted, he doesn't have the same luck, and to see how dejected he was, when he crashed out, it's pretty wild to see, because it's kind of, as you guys know, sometimes you don't know why things ain't working out in that moment, and stuff like that. So what are your thoughts on where Yamaha is? Because they're showing flashes of, one lap speeds and stuff like that, and they can qualify fairly well. But I don't want to say they're struggling like KTM, but their struggles seem to, like, once the tire falls off, they turn into like a Fiat.
I mean, yeah, they're really struggling. I feel like there's just still a lot of Yamaha fans or a lot of Yamaha believers out there for GP. Like they just want to see him do good because they got Fabio as a really good rider. They don't want to waste that talent, and he's been proving it. The bike's not showing it. Jack Miller, I mean, he's just been up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. I mean, granted, he just had his Grand Prix. Hopefully, give you some confidence, and it's all kind of like not about you, but about you, so you can like use that to help a little bit. I mean, and then Miguel, I think he crashed out in the sprints. So yeah, it's just not really looking good. The V4 um, was terrible, I think. Like,
Okay. All
and
right.
and I think it shouldn't have even been out there.
Come what?
Uh, I
What do
mean,
you
I
mean by
mean,
him?
they try to get results. I mean, it was just. I mean, obviously, you're trying to see what it got. It just didn't look good. It didn't look good.
Listen, man, there are a
It
lot of
didn't look
people
good.
that roll something out for the very first time,
Yeah, I
and
know.
it don't even make it down the street.
I know.
And
I
you got to
know.
go back to the drawing board, like,
I feel like Fabio right now.
Einstein and some of these guys, man, 1,000 experiments before they get it right. I mean, it's, at Reese, come on, you guys, how many stuff you guys have in the warehouse that didn't even make it on the bike?
This is a
Like
critical
there's more parts
crossover,
that
though.
don't make it on stuff than do, because, I don't want to say it's trial and error, but it's trial and error. What are your thoughts, Reese?
yeah, trial and errors at testing, not during race weekend. Like trial and error at testing, man. I don't know about no race weekend. Race weekend, we trying to win.
It's
But
the weekend when you send the bankers away, and you keep all the engineers.
I mean, you keep putting that V4 out, yeah, you gonna send the bankers away, not wanting to invest. Like that thing is dog slower than the inline four. Like what the f is this? But I mean, with keeping Jack and with Jack, I mean, he shows his little spurts here and there. I mean, especially over Miguel. I mean, if you were, between Miguel and Jack, I mean, they kept the right one. They kept Jack.
Right.
So you know that was for that. But I mean, at this point in time, you're getting ready to almost lose Fabio. For the 27th season, you're getting ready to lose him. He's going to be like, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm calling it
They're not,
quits."
where's he gonna go? He's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. Where he gonna go?
Yeah,
Honda?
go see.
I mean, Costa's going to Honda. Where he gonna go? He can just make noise and get a fatter contract and get more pearls. Lewis, what are your thoughts on Yamaha? Is it the V4 or is it the test rider? Augusta Fernandez has not been tested. Like, I don't think he should be a test rider.
Yeah, but think of it this way: how long was Stefan Bradl a test rider for Honda? You just need to have quality. A test rider is somebody that can give you feedback the right way, not necessarily the fastest guy, the right guy that can give you feedback. And sometimes the guy that can give you the best feedback is not the fastest guy. He might be, a half a second, 3/4 of a second, or even a second slower than the guys at the front, but he can feel things and explain them to the engineers better than a super fast guy. Like if I had to build a bike tomorrow and my test rider, the two options were going to be Marc Marquez or Maverick Vinales, I would pick Maverick Vinales because Marc Marquez is going to give me great feedback for a bike for him.
Right.
Vinales is going to give me great feedback to make a great bike.
Okay. So, but Fernandez is not that.
But if that's the case, then Michele Pirro, he tests all the Ducatis. Are Ducati ship boxes? Because he's slow as balls.
The 25, man. I'm on record already complaining about the 25. I already said to me it's the worst bike since the 2020. So
well, then blame Michele Pirro because he's the one that's testing, or blame Luca Salvadori.
Again, that's why I'm asking this because but it's a different era, right? Yeah. And I get what you're saying. But are you telling me there's no former MotoGP riders that's had a better career than Fernandez to be a test rider?
The only good one that wants to do it is Danny Pedrosa. What other former GP rider would you want to? Jorge Lorenzo? My man's eating a lot of arepas. He's looking real pudgy around the middle.
He's starting to look like some of these retired European football players.
Yeah, my man's like, what? I don't have to work out anymore? Bet. You don't have to dare me. And then
we do got Dobie.
Dobie does ride here and there.
Yeah, he's just coming on though. He's replacing Cal, and Cal's been hurt for like 2 years since his accident. He seems like he's been hurt.
And all right, so outside of those two guys, who else do you have that's gonna want to do it?
They lost Aleix because Aleix is with Honda. Rossi's racing, so he's not gonna come and be a test rider for sure.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting Fernandez to come in and be top 15. Obviously, it's a new project, but they're literally transitioning to this bike pretty soon. It's going to be in Fabio's hands in a couple months or in a month or two. So obviously, his skill level will help improve it. But Mapiro was way down the pack. He was 20th, But just see Chancho, not to pick on him, finish ahead of him in the sprint and the GP. I know it's not about the speed. It's just I feel like the direction that Yamaha is trying to head, they should show more improvement. To a fan, maybe they're seeing something we're not seeing.
I think the best test rider they have is Alex Rins. Take him off the factory seat, put somebody else in the factory seat, and makes Alex Rins, because Alex Rins, he just doesn't have it, man. Now it's very clear that he just has not recovered from his last injury, because he's a shell of the guy he was just 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's not the bike, because he's finishing either right in front of or right behind Jack Miller. So it's definitely not the bike. He still has skill. He just doesn't have that extra piece to get him to the front anymore. And I think he's riding out his contract. Once his contract is done, if I was Yamaha, I would keep him as a test rider.
Test rider. He'd be the best one.
Dude is fast. That dude is smooth. That dude can help you build a fast bike. Just take him out of the racing environment and put him on his full test riding environment, and he will
Crazy.
help you develop a bike really, really well.
We'll be testing that V4 next year for the whole season.
From 18th place,
Nah,
just give that seat to somebody else.
I think Renza figure it out. I believe in Renz. Like
I
He
he's
go-
believe
he
in Rins
gonna-
too, but I think the writing's on the wall that next year will be his last year. I don't see
Yeah.
He's
him
You think
moving
figuring it
it's
forward
out.
from that.
He's
you
figuring
think it's
out. He's
hard to
figuring out how to
become a
be a
test
test
rider?
rider.
Huh?
You think it's hard to become a test rider? Like, you say it's probably fit for him, but what if he's like, nah, I don't want to do that because I
Well,
like to
remember,
compete.
when you're a test rider, you're not traveling around the world anymore. You're talking about a guy who's married with kids,
Yeah,
who probably would doesn't mind flying away for like a week to go test ride and then come home and be with his family again. He's got plenty of money. He can retire, make his money on the side. He's still going to make money off his name and off his fame. But for certain guys, this is the best reality of after racing. What am I going to do after racing? He's not going to be a commentator because Polish Barbaro has already locked that down.
it's
um,
just made for certain people, like
yeah. And even when he's on the mic, he's not the most charismatic person in the world. I mean, he's a great guy, but he's not grabbing everybody's attention and making the inflections that you need to really grab the audience's attention. Commentating is a difficult game in itself. But you put him on a bike, on a track with engineers, let him go out, run paces. He knows how to ride, he knows how to go fast, and he will tell you how to fix that bike.
right.
Minus the environment and the stress of a race weekend and traveling for 4 weeks in a row and not seeing his family and all this other stuff that does at his age and where he's at in his life. I'm sure that takes a toll on him, man.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think he got 1 year left, and I think he wants to win on another manufacturer before he bows out. So, he got at least 24 rounds to at least try to win a race. So, I mean, that's at least 44 races. One of them he'll get. But let's talk about World Superbike. We got some, more MotoGP, more Moto2 riders coming in. You guys, when I say you guys, Reese and Lewis, you guys have been following the sport and been in the sport longer than I have. From what I can tell, it looks like this is the most MotoGP or Moto2 riders I've seen in World Superbike. Paddock, I don't know, Reese, when you got there, if if that's a good thing or not, because now folks coming from different classes, it's going to be harder to get into World Superbike when you got people leaving MotoGP and Moto2. Baltazari's coming back to Superbike next year. He's did like a world tour with all these other classes and stuff like that. Is it a good thing for these former MotoGP riders to be in World Superbike? And I mean, it's like at least top 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good. I mean, we always used to say sometimes World Superbike is where the old GP riders go to retire and die.
Right, but
But
not a young, not a
right,
23, 24, 25.
right. So I mean, it's a good thing. It just shakes up the paddock. I mean, it's a lot of things that are moving pieces. You got MotoGP guys going World Superbike. You got World Superbike guys coming over here to Moto America. So you got a bunch of things that's in play, and it's just going to shake up the paddock, and it's just going to make the series more interesting. So I think it is a good thing. It's just going to keep the sport growing and actually show some different views for people.
Okay, all right. TJ, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, I'm excited to see next year the Lowe's brothers are gonna win everything.
The most
well, I
crashes.
mean, I do like the shake up and you see a couple of riders soon to become aging out. Like some riders again up in it, so it's good to see like the
Drop
shake
some
up.
names, TJ. Come on, Vandermark. Who else?
Bautista, there's a couple of those guys, and a big key thing though is that Top Rock left too. So like it's like now a lot of fans that's probably watching World Superbike because of Top Rock is gonna be like, all right, where's Top Rock going? So they might lose a lot of fans to World Superbike because of this. But how do you keep it? So just bring a younger crowd, some MotoGP races over here. So I think it's a good thing. And I think it is confirmed that Darren Bender's coming to Moto America. Is that true? So I think I heard.
I haven't heard if Darren Bender is coming, but
You might want to try Vandermark.
Right.
Uh,
It's tough. Lewis, what are your thoughts on those riders, and is it fair, like, TJ mentioned Bulaga, and we all saying Bulaga is going to run away with it next year unless some of these other MotoGP riders might stop him and stuff like that. We see that he looks like he may ride Marquez's bike in one of these rounds coming up and stuff like that. Is Bulaga getting showed the proper love from Ducati? Is he being promised that he might be able to get a MotoGP ride? Is this just a pat on the back to say, hey, we'll let you ride this bike? And as a rider, and he was in Moto2, I'm pretty sure he wanted to go to MotoGP before World Superbike. What are your thoughts overall on all these young riders coming into World Superbike these days, and then Bulaga's situation with Ducati?
I mean, the guys going to World Superbike, I think increases the quality of World Superbike. To see some popular names from the MotoGP paddock going over to a World Superbike is a benefit to World Superbike because, like I said, I feel that there's a lack of stars in World Superbike right now. There was 2 big stars, one of them is gone, and now we need new stars. We need new young stars that can go there and really shake it up and bring some new life into that series. Alvaro Bautista, again, on the older side of old. Danilo Petrucci on the older side of old. I mean, these are well-known names, but it's kind of time to see some new young blood coming up and being competitive. And that's one of the things that I'm worried about World Superbike. One, we've already noted that the attendance this year hasn't been that great. They've only did 10 rounds, which for a world-class championship is not enough. I mean, 10 rounds is not enough. MotoGP is doing 22 rounds, and World Superbike is doing less than half of that. Like, that's not acceptable. Like, World Superbike's got to figure that out. They got to expand. They got to go to more regions. Like, they got to come to South America. They got to come to Latin America. They have to come to the U.S. They can't just be the European Championship with one race in Australia. Like, that doesn't work. They need to go to Asia. They need to go to Malaysia. They need to go to all these other markets. I just hope that it doesn't, again, I've worried about this for a while now, that it doesn't become the Nicolo Bulaga show. I hope that Iker Lecuona will actually be able to compete against his own teammate on the Ducati, because I don't see Danilo Petrucci jumping on the BMW and lighting the world on fire. He's a great rider, but I don't see him lighting the world on fire on that bike. Miguel Oliveira, if he gets through a season without being taken out 18 times, that's a win by itself. Maybe he left the MotoGP paddock because there was a bounty out on him because he just couldn't get away from people's front tires.
Do you remember those old cartoons you might where they, it was like, they were doing future cars, and there's one car that, they have a car that the bumper doesn't get scratched.
Yeah.
The whole car is destroyed, but the bumper is pristine. Can we put something around?
I mean, seriously. So with the guys that are coming over from MotoGP, I hope they do something. I mean, Jake Dixon and Chantra going to Honda. We talked about it last week. I think Honda's insane for wiping the slate completely clean, just as their riders are actually becoming really competitive.
You saw Xavi the last round?
Yeah, like that was like, I don't know what Honda's thinking. Maybe they see something in Jake Dixon and Chantra that I don't see. I don't know.
All those guys racing Moto2.
Maybe they're hoping that they bring that Moto2 energy and start banging bars and pushing people wide and doing all that crazy Moto2 stuff there. But I still don't think Honda has the bike to be at the very front with the Ducati yet, or even with the BMW. But I still think they'll be competitive next year with the BMW, just because BMW's got a full stable of new guys also.
Right.
That don't know the bike, don't know the dynamics. And as good as a rider you are, you still need to make the bike yours. Yeah, right. Learn that bike, make those adjustments that work with your body, with your riding style.
Yeah, I think that I think next year Yamaha has a shot in the World Superbike. This is the talent, and pretty much everyone is staying on the same bike. I think the only person that's going there is Manzi. I think everybody else is repeat offenders on the Yamaha and Ducati. I mean, I don't want to say Kawasaki's not there, but they didn't show enough this year that they could be there next year. But I think Yamaha, because what's his name? The other rider on the Agatelli, no,
For what? For Yamaha?
Yamaha, he's doing fairly well. I think he's
Oh,
finishing.
Locatelli.
Yeah,
Locatelli.
thank you, Locatelli. Yeah, he's finishing fourth, and I think fourth or fifth in the championship or something like that. So I think Honda has a pretty good shot next year. And
Yeah, but we
from
got
what
Chabi next year.
Yep.
Chavi,
Yeah, they got Chavi Vieje and Locatelli on the same team.
Yep.
yeah.
Because Johnny Ray retires.
Yeah. And then
And
you still
because
got
Honda's
Gardner.
smoking crack and
Yeah.
just let all their good riders leave.
Yeah, which is
Stupid.
It is crazy, but I think it's a good look to have these guys in the sport. Hopefully next year, it'll be different as far as the attendance and stuff like that. But as far as the competitive side of World Superbike, it's cool to see because in theory, you got 12 riders that can probably fight up front. I mean, fight for second down because I think it's going to be Runaway with Bulliga for next season. Anything we missed? Anything you want to add before we get out of here, guys?
No, I got a question for Reese that I didn't think about before.
Oh God!
No.
How did you get through customs?
The token black guys got to get through now.
So we know next year the baggers are going to go race in MotoGP, 6 races, 1 here in the US and 5 in Europe. Do you think it would have been better if baggers went to World Superbike instead of MotoGP? Just thinking about what baggers have done here in the US with more stock type racing versus prototype racing. I understand they're going to get a bigger audience in GP, but I think they would bring audience to World Superbike that doesn't necessarily go to World Superbike versus MotoGP guys. They're still going to sell out 100, 150, 160,000 seats. Are they going to sell 168,000 seats just because baggers are there? Like, I don't see the numbers that we see here when you see the 20 or 30% higher attendance when baggers come. I don't see that equating to MotoGP. If MotoGP this weekend was in Malaysia and they had 190,000 people, I don't think they're going to have 227,000 people.
Right.
Versus if they were at World Superbike and they had 80,000 people, there is a possibility they could have 110,000 people.
Right. And I like to add, why did they get rid of Moto E to put the baggers in? Because more gas, more oil.
They missed the oil, man. They missed the oil leaks. They missed the blow motors.
Because Moto E had, I believe, 6 rounds.
I mean, I honestly think that it would have been, going to World Superbike because, it's going to bring in attendance, right? And it's bringing the attendance into Moto America. It brought that attendance way up. So I think if it went to World Superbike, like you said, like Lewis said, with a stock bike versus a prototype, it just seems a lot better. I mean, you can't really boost up MotoGP, but the only thing I can see them doing is because you're going to get more eyes on it, more developers on it, where they can actually kind of branch off and maybe put into World Superbike or do something else where more teams of that kind or that caliber can come into play and want to actually try it because it is something that is working.
Right.
Yeah, it's a hell of a lot of money. I mean, I think it was like $1.5 million just to build one of them damn things.
That's it's pretty crazy.
Empty bags.
Fuck.
Say again?
I said fuck. That's a lot of money.
They're just empty bags. I'm just kidding, but it's just like, damn.
And is that a situation where the fans are requesting it, Harley signing the big check? Because I mean, it's pretty impressive. I mean, to see, we already say it's pretty impressive to what we've seen happen in Moto America with the turnout it's been, and to leapfrog to MotoGP and not World Superbike, or some of these other, maybe we may see it down the road in the future.
Well,
never know. You might.
Well, the test was really last year's MotoGP to this year's MotoGP, and the test was in the paddock here at COTA. They saw how many attendees they had in 2024 when they had the baggers versus 2025 when they didn't have the baggers. And that was the test. That was a litmus test. does this bring fans? 2024, they had Harley Davidson there. Harley Davidson invested heavily. We had a huge attendance at Coda. This year, they didn't have the baggers. Harley didn't attend. And you saw that you weren't there both years, but I was. And the attendance was significantly down from the year before when the baggers were there. So that was kind of the litmus test for MotoGP, to see the amount of people that kind of rally around this, this what looks like a sideshow, but it is a legitimate form of racing. Like, these guys are legitimate racers. These bikes are crazy fast. And I think in Europe, when they see 800-pound bagger going a half a second slower than a Moto 2 bike, it might be a little bit eye-opening to some of these guys.
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting to see. I don't know if we've ever compared on the show the times on Moto 2. I know we talked about Super Sport in America and stuff like that. I mean, granted, I guess Coda would be the only track that we could kind of use as a good barometer, since we're not racing over in any other tracks in the rest of the world and stuff like that. I lost my train of thought with that, guys. Anything you want to add, and we'll piece
Yeah.
I had something good, but
I was saying the baggers are keeping up with the super sports. They had Kyle Wyman doing a time with, I forget, someone on the super sport, and I think he did faster time than him, and it's just crazy what the baggers can do. And some people don't know that a Carly can do that.
Right. But I'll say this: what the baggers bring to the sport, and I seen it on Sunday at Jersey's Round when we were, packing. They're actually like how racing was back in the day, like crazy, wild. Like, they were in the paddock, literally, they won, and they're in the paddock late at night doing burnout, blowing tires, drinking a beer with one hand and I'm like, these is nuts, and they're living it up. But that's what racing is. It's about fun. It's about the whole team having fun. You celebrate as a team. But what Harley invested in their racing is just like, it's insane amount of money. It's insane. It's like, we just got money to throw at this.
They're doing burnouts, and you guys are measuring the leftover oil.
Pretty much. Leftover oil. Like, what can we do for next year? Like, they're out there having fun. So it's something.
They're bringing fun back to the paddock.
So
that's what it is.
A real quick search at Coda, baggers are about 5 seconds a lap slower than Moto 2 bikes, and 1 second a lap faster than Moto 3 bikes.
Huh.
So they're right in that sweet spot between a single cylinder and a 4-cylinder, a 3-cylinder. So they're right there where a 2-cylinder should be.
And listen, with that said, give me a skinny girl every day, all day.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'd rather crash on a Moto 3 bike than on a bagger.
Than a bagger, boy. Jesus Christ, that's gonna hurt.
I will say that the things I like to see on the baggers is when they spin up the rear and go sideways, because they seem to like they can just straighten out and keep going. Other guys will high side and flip off the bike. These guys go sideways, and that thing will straighten out.
And here's another thing to take into account. The baggers were racing at Coda on Dunlops.
Huh.
In the GP series, from my understanding, they're supposed to be on Pirellis. So is that good? Is that good for 2 seconds, Reese?
I plead the fifth. I'm out.
They're about to be dragging elbows on the baggers on Pirelli tires.
I think Dunlop's time is ticking.
It sounds like it, and if more people get their say or get overseas to get on these Pirellis that seem to got all the Spider-Man Pirellis, it's going to be a beautiful thing. It's crazy, and we'll talk about this. I'm gonna wrap up because we're kind of going over it a little bit, but yeah, I'll leave that for another time. The tire war. And how much of a difference would make in the sport if we could all be on the same playing field. My name is Rex45. It's the Be Forever Cool podcast. I want to thank TJ from Two Wheels and Coffee, Reese from Attack Yamaha. He got back into the country safely. We didn't have to, use the old ways to get him back into the country and stuff like that. It's good to have him back here on the U.S. soil. the real Luis Ortega, the numbers guy. Not much numbers. We got 2 races left, Luis. So we'll definitely add up how things went at the last round. And we already know who's the crown champion. I'll say this though, it is weird that with Marquez, right? Because it feels like the last 2 years these champions, Martin got hurt this year, so he had no world tour, and then a week later, Mark is out, so it's like he wins the championship, but like there's no celebration really.
Nah.
Nah.
I mean, he'll be walking around. He said in Spain, but not in his leathers. So it just sucks. It sucks to not be able to do that like end of season championship kind of ride. But I mean, hopefully he'll have a few more.
All right, there you go, and we will talk about him for him, so that way he's not missing much. My name is Rex 45. Peace.
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 Peace.